Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about beam columns. Okay, last topic in our discussion of design of beams, that is beam columns. So first let us see what is meant by beam column. When a significant bending moment acts on a column. Okay, when a significant bending moment acts on a column in addition to an axial load on a member, in addition to axial load on a member, then that member is called as beam column. As beam column. So this is the definition of beam column. Once again I read out. When a significant bending moment acts on a column in addition to an axial load on a member, then that member is called as beam column. Is that okay? The name of this member is the name of this member itself is self-interpreting. It means this member acts like a beam in some cases and a column in some cases, or both beam and column in some cases. Is that okay? It means beam means it mainly subjected to moment. Column means it's mainly subject to axial force. So beam column means summation of these two. Is that okay? If moment is very, very high in comparison to the axial force, then this member will act like a beam. If axial force is very, very high in comparison to the moment, then the very same member will act like a column. If both are equally important, or if both the magnitudes are having significant, or if both magnitudes, that is, if both moment and axial force magnitudes producing significant effects in that member, then that member behaves like both beam and column. Is that okay? Now, whatever the column base we have discussed at the end of our discussion of the design of compression members, that is pocket base, comes under this category, beam column category. It means that pocket base comes under beam column category. Is that okay? So this is what beam column means. Now let us see the causes for the moment onto this column, or causes of the bending moment onto the column or onto the member. Let us see. So what are the causes which produce a significant bending moment into that column? Let us see. Okay, that is our point of discussion now. So first one, is eccentricity of axial load. Okay, eccentricity of axial load. So to understand how this eccentricity of axial load produce significant moment onto the column, we need to know about the types of columns that are existing in a structure based on the load transferring mechanism by the beams. It means first we need to understand, or first we need to know about types of columns in a structure based on the load transferring mechanism by the beams. Is that okay? So there are three types of columns based on the load transfer mechanism by the beams onto the column. Now what are those? First one, interior column. Second one, corner column. Third one, exterior column. Okay, so first let us start our discussion with interior column. Okay, first one, interior column. Okay, interior column. So which column is considered as interior column? When beams frame into column, when beams frame into column opposite each other opposite each other, then that column is called interior column. Now what is interior column? When beams frame into column opposite each other, then that column is known as interior column. With a diagram, you understand this particular interior column more clearly. Okay, so let me draw the diagram. This is the cross section of a column. Okay, let us consider I section as a column. Okay, this is the cross section of a column. And that too, here I am showing the top view. Okay, here I will show you the top or plan view. Means from the top. If you observe that structure from the top, this is how it looks like. Okay, cross section of a column is I here in this example. These were the axes for this column. This is the major axis, that is XX, major axis. Okay, XX. And this is the minor axis, YY. Okay, minor axis. Minor axis, YY. This is a beam A, and this is a beam B, and this is beam C, and this is beam D. Is that okay? So when beams frame into the column opposite each other, so these two are the beams which are opposite each other, and these two are the beams which are opposite each other. When this type of framing is going to done, okay, when this type of framing is going to exist, then such column is known as interior column. Is it okay? Now what is meant by interior column? Now this is beam A, beam B, beam C, and beam D, and beam A and C are opposite each other, and beam D, B and D are opposite each other. Is that clear now, everyone? Now in this case, okay, or for this type of interior column, usually the reactions transferred by the opposite columns, okay, sorry, the reaction transferred by the opposite beams onto the column is same. Usually it is same. Therefore, load onto the column because of these opposite beams reaction is applied axially. Okay, is applied axially, and we assume that such interior columns are loaded with axial load. Okay, axial load. But if reaction transferred by the opposite columns is not equal, okay, is not equal, then difference of that reactions will create some moment or will develop some bending moment onto this column. So that moment we need to take into the design when we are designing this interior column. Is that okay? So usually, once I repeat, usually the reactions transferred by these opposite beams is same onto the column. Okay, reactions transferred by these opposite beams onto this column is same, onto this interior column is same. But if they are not same, then difference of the value of that reactions will produce some moment onto this interior column. Is that okay? In this way, there exists movement onto the column along with axial load. Clear? This is about interior column. Okay, this is about interior column. Now let us see the second one, corner column. Okay. Okay, corner column. So this is how the beams will frame into the corners column. Okay, this is how the beams will frame into the corner column. Now if you take the beam B, okay, if you take the beam B, now this beam B will transfer the reaction at the face of the column here. Okay, at the face of the column. Now that reaction will act at an eccentricity of d by 2 at the CG. It means here the CG is going to act. Okay, here where the CG for the column section, and this is the overall depth. Let us take it as D, capital D, or D, simply small d. Okay. Now whatever the reaction that is going to be transferred by this beam B, will act at the face of this column. Is that okay? If you consider that reaction at the CG of this column, then the very same reaction will act at an eccentricity of d by 2. Is that okay? So in that way, there exists a moment onto the column. In the same way, this column VA reaction will also act at this face, means web face of the column. Then if you transfer that face reaction onto the CG, then that reaction will accompany with the moment, or that reaction will act at an eccentricity. Is that clear? Now this corner column is subjected to biaxial bending. So this corner column is subjected to biaxial bend, means in the both the directions there exists moment because of the reaction from the beams here. Okay, so biaxial bending plus axial load. So this is how the moment coming onto the corner column. Okay, this is how the moment coming onto the corner column. That's to biaxial moment, or you can say biaxial bending and axial load. Now let us see exterior column. Okay, let us see the third one, that is exterior column. Third one, exterior column. Okay, exterior column. This is major XX. Is it okay? Now this is how the beams will frame into the exterior column. Now if you observe, here there exists moment onto this column because of this beam B, provided the spans and cross-sectional areas or cross-section properties of beam A and C are equal. Is that okay? If the reactions transferred by this opposite beam A and C are equal, then there exists moment onto the column only because of this beam B. And that too, in which direction the moment is going to act? Along the major axis. It means only in one direction the moment is going to act. So in most of the cases, exterior column is subjected to uniaxial bending. Uniaxial bending. So in this example, that uniaxial bending is along the major axis, but there exists uniaxial bending along minor axis also. Is that okay? But basically, exterior column is subjected to uniaxial bending with axial load. Now these are the cases, or this is how the eccentricity of axial load will come onto the column. Okay, this is how the eccentricity of the axial load will produce moment onto the column. Okay, with this we have completed the first reason for the moment. Okay, first reason for the moment onto the columns. So that is eccentricity of the axial load. Now let us the second one, that is building frame action. Second reason which produce the moment onto the column, bending moment onto the column, that is building frame action. Second one, building frame action. Second one, building frame action. Okay, building frame action. So these building frames are mostly braced against sway by any bracing system or core walls. Okay, basically whatever the building frames we are going to observe in our day-to-day life, now all those building frames are braced. Okay, mostly all those building frames are braced against sway by bracing system or core walls. But the horizontal wind load. Okay, the horizontal wind load means always the wind load will come onto the structure horizontally. Now that horizontal wind load has to be resisted by the bending action in the columns. It means the column need to develop bending in them to resist that horizontal axial load. In that way, the moment is coming onto the column in building frame by building frame action. So here also I will show the diagram so that you understand clearly. This is one building frame having multiple base, okay, multiple story and multiple base. So this is one building frame, okay, having multiple base and multiple story. Clear? If there is a horizontal load, okay, this is a wind load, okay, horizontal wind load or wind force, whatever it may be. Okay, now because of this wind load or wind force, okay, because of this wind load or wind force, so the individual columns, or you can say the total columns, is going to sway like. It means in some cases there exists individual bending or individual sway of the columns like this, or in some cases the total building frame is going to sway. Now this sway, or you can say this wind force is going to develop by swaying towards the opposite, by swaying in the direction of the load, by developing the bending moment in the column. Even though the sway may be prevented, or even though the sway may be prevented, or it can be reduced by providing some bracing system or core wall, but mainly this particular wind load is to be resisted by developing the bending moment or bending action in the column. In this way there occurs bending moment into the column by building frame action. Is that okay? So this is the second reason. Now let us see the third reason, that is portal frame action. Third one is a portal frame action. Third one, portal frame action. Let us consider one simple portal frame. So this is the portal frame. Now in this portal frame there exist rigid joints A, B, C, D. Is that clear? So this here B and C are rigid joint. Because of rigidity of the joints here, the columns are subjected to axial loads as well as end moments from the beams or girders framing into the column. It means if you see here, BC is a beam. Now this beam is framed into the column AB and CD. Because of that framing action and the rigidity of the joints, columns are not only subjected to axial load, but also the end moments present at the end of a beam. Is that okay? Now here columns are subjected to bending moment because of the end moments developed due to the rigidity. Okay, due to the rigidity of the joints of the beams. Okay, joint of the beams and columns. Is that okay? So that is the third reason, portal frame action. Clear? Now fourth is load from the bracket. So fourth one here is load from the bracket. Load from the bracket. Already these cases were discussed in both bolted connections and welded connections. It means there itself we have seen type 1 and type 2 eccentric connections. Clear? And we know how to design and what are the effects in the connections because of the type 1 and type 2 eccentric load. Here briefly I am going to explain. Okay, so there exist two types. So first one, this is the flange of a column. Now this flange of a column is connected to a bracket by using a bolt or weld, whatever it may be. Now this is the load P. Okay, so here where the CG lies. Now this is the eccentricity E. This is eccentricity E. Now this load P, okay, this load P will act as an axial load on this flange of a column along with some moment. Okay, along with some moment. In that way, the moment is coming onto the column. So these are type 1 eccentric connection. Now the second, just I will show you the diagram, that's it. I'm not going into the details. Why? Because it was already discussed. So in the same way, this load, eccentric load P, will also produce a moment in this column. Is that clear? So this is how the load from the bracket will develop or create moment in the column. Okay, moment in the column, and the design of the connections. Okay, design of the connections, already how to design the connections in these aspects already we have discussed. Okay, next and last cause for the moment onto the column. Next and last cause, that is fixed base action. Fixed base action. It means when columns are fixed, okay, when columns are fixed to the base, in the, okay, when columns are fixed to the column base, like in the case of raft, tiles and grilles foundation, there will be some moment present at the base of the column, even though the top of the column may be hinged. It means because of fixity at the base of the column, that is fixed base action, there exists moment onto the column. Now all these are the reasons for the moment onto the column along with axial force. Once again I will revise, or once again I will tell all those things. One is eccentricity of the load, and another is building frame action, and another is portal frame action, and another is roll from the bracket, and the last one is fixed base action. Now all these factors contribute moment onto the column. Therefore, such type of elements are called as beam columns. Why? Because they are subjected to moment and axial load as well. Is that clear? And their behavior. Now coming to the behavior. Now all the parameters that influence the behavior of the beam and column will influence the behavior of this beam and column. These beam columns also. Okay, beam columns also. Now I'm not going into the detailed explanation of that behavior of beam columns and factors which influence the behavior, strength and design of beam columns, because from exam point of view it is not at all required. The reason, the design procedure and interaction formulas, what is mentioned, okay, what is mentioned in the code related to this beam column is very lengthy and complex, which is not required from exam point of view. That is why I'm not going to the detail. But coming to the design procedure, okay, the design procedure of this beam column involves a trial and error. Okay, it involves a trial and error procedure. It means first selecting a trial section by using some approximate formulas, that is initial sizing. So first we select one trial section by using some approximate formulas. Now that selected trial section is to be checked. Okay, the selected trial section is to be checked for some interaction equations and formulas prescribed in the IS code. As I said earlier, I'm not going into the details of those interaction equations and formulas. But the selected trial section by using some approximate formulas is to be checked for interaction equations and formulas. If that selected trial section doesn't meet those criteria, or if that selected trial section is too much on the safer side, then we have to go for selecting the different section or another section, and that another selected section again has to be checked for these interaction equations. Means all the calculations has to be repeated. Okay, all the calculations has to be repeated. That is checking for interaction equations and formulas and etc. Is that okay? This process or this procedure is repeated till the satisfactory section is obtained. So once I repeat, so design process of beam column is a trial and error. Okay, it is a trial and error. It means selecting a trial section by using some approximate formulas. So initially we are going to select that is known as initial sizing. So by selecting a trial section, we go for checking the interaction equations and formulas. So now, as I said, design procedure is not at all important, but one thing that is very important from the design procedure of beam column is approximate formulas used for initial sizing. Okay, approximate formula used for initial sizing of beam column. So there exist so many approximate formulas. Out of all those approximate formulas existing, okay, out of all those formulas, approximate formulas existing for initial sizing for beam column, one equation or one formula is preferable, that is Ura's equation. It means Ura proposed two equations based on some two approaches. Okay, based on two approaches. So now what are those equations and what are those approaches? Let us see, which is what very important from exam point of view. That is why I'm explaining. So Ura's equation. So basically there are two equations. So first equation is based on equivalent axial load approach. Equivalent axial load approach. So when we go for equivalent axial load approach, if axial force is very high, okay, if axial force is very high or it is predominant and moment is less, okay, moment is less, then we go for using this equivalent axial load approach. Now what is the formula or equation for it? This equivalent axial load Pu is nothing but P plus 2mx by d plus 7.5 my by b. So this is the equivalent axial load approach or equivalent axial load equation. Now what is mx and what is my, what is d and what is b? Let us see. With a cross section I'll explain. Let us take a simple cross section, that is rectangle. So this is a rectangular cross section. For this cross section there exist two axes. This is xx and this is yy, right? This is xx and this is yy. Now moment along this xx is known as mx. And moment along this yy is known as my, right? Now B and D are width and depth of the cross section respectively. Okay, B and Y are width and depth of the cross section respectively. So for this this is the width. So for this cross section, this is the width and this is the depth, right? This is the width and this is the depth. Clear? These were the, and P is the axial load. Okay, P is the axial load, and Mx and My are the, means this particular, in this case we have considered biaxial bending case. Okay, in this formula we have taken into the account biaxial bending. It means bending moment along both the axes, that is x and y. It means what we are doing in this equivalent axial load approach, we are converting that moments also into the load by this formula. Basically this is approximate formula. Is it okay? So this is the first approach. Now second approach is obviously equivalent moment approach. Equivalent moment approach. Okay, equivalent moment approach. As the name indicates, we go for this approach if moment is much more. If moment is much more in comparison to the axial load, then we go for using this equation or this approach. So what is the formula here? Equivalent moment mu is equal to mx plus pd by 2. It means here we have considered only uniaxial bending case. So in this approach, in this equivalent moment approach, we have considered only uniaxial bending case. Okay, uniaxial bending case. And here also what we are doing, we are converting that force into the moment with this formula, or with this approach, or with this equation. Is that okay? As I said, the design procedure is a trial and error, and the detailed design procedure is not at all required for gate examination. But these formulas are required. That means equations used for initial sizing. Is that clear? So with this, we have completed the beam columns. Not only beam columns, the total topic of the design of the beams completed. Now we are to discuss numericals on it. So we'll see some numericals on this so that you understand whatever the concepts we have discussed so far clearly. Okay, take them.